some moment of madness inside the walls. We all fall down.
Right away, you look at this actor, and if you don't see a resemblance to Vincent Van Gogh, then you just don't even know what Vincent Van Gogh looked like. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Clarion Call Reactions and Opinions. The person on your screen should be recognizable to almost anybody. It's one of the most famous artists in the world, Vincent Van Gogh. He was a Dutch painter who painted in the late 1800s before his suicide at age 37. He suffered from many mental breakdowns and issues, spent some time in a sanitarium, but he also was one of the most brilliant artists, and his works command probably $100 million each at this point, although he only sold one in his lifetime. Now, one of our favorite artists, Ren, has come out with a video called Vincent's Tale - Sunflowers. The sunflowers should have been a hint to people because Van Gogh was famous for his series of sunflower paintings that he did, still lifes of sunflowers. But I watched probably a half dozen reactions to Ren's new song, and nobody's making the connection that this song is inspired by the artist Vincent Van Gogh. They're so focused in on the tale of Screech and the other tales that have preceded this new video that they're trying to make the connections there, but they're missing the big story. And it should have been a hint when you see one of the main characters in the video, and he looks very much like this picture of Vincent Van Gogh, this self-portrait. I haven't done a video in about a month. It's mainly because I've been focusing more on my writing with my Substack. In fact, I wrote a Substack about this video and about Vincent Van Gogh and how nobody recognizes him, and I will put a link to that Substack in the description. My first calling was as a writer, and obviously not so much as a video performer. You know, I'm very busy. I'm operating a farm and a number of other businesses, and this time of year is just incredibly busy and hard to keep up. But I find that I can sit down and I can write a Substack in an hour or two, where the process of recording a video and editing the video and publishing the video is much more time consuming. It might take me 4 to 6 hours. That's where I've been. I've been writing more so than performing. Also, it's been difficult to find material that I want to react to. I think there's been a real sea change artistically since the election. Prior to that time, there was many political songs out there, which is really the kind of songs I like. And then people didn't know how to react to Trump actually winning. You know, we had been in the opposition for 4 long years, and we were used to being, you know, the rebels, but we didn't know how to be the winners. Tom MacDonald, I suppose, is a good example of that. He went on kind of an introspective tour, went acoustic, didn't do a rap song in 6 months. And then actually just this couple of days ago, he did come out with a new song, White Boy Shit. I had a choice, either do that, react to that, or react to Ren. Well, it really was no contest for me. I'm glad that Tom is back to his rapping, but he's still not back to his political rapping. So I'm going to wait for that. But Ren, this is a work of absolute genius, what he's done here with this prologue. It's really in the nature of a teaser for his upcoming video. Musically, cinematically, theme-wise, this is a tour de force. This is why Ren is revered among people that are familiar with his music. He's an otherworldly star in what he's able to do, and at the same time still struggling from physical ailments. He wrote a note about this video that he went blind in one eye, he had some kind of autoimmune reaction, he had to go to Mexico for treatment. It's just amazing the guy can even survive, much less produce at this level. Anyway, I want to kind of set the record straight on who Vincent Van Gogh was. So many people don't seem to know the story. A big part of Vincent's life was that he was an alcoholic in addition to his mental problems, and he drank a particular type of drink known as absinthe. Absinthe was a very high-proof alcoholic drink, but was also made with some medicinal herbs such as wormwood being one of the main ingredients, And wormwood was known for its psychoactive effects. So he was getting a double barrel. Not only was he drinking to excess, but he was also taking large doses of wormwood, which some people think may explain why his art is so vibrant and otherworldly in many cases. You can see a little bit of it in this portrait, but it gets more so as his mental illness increased and as his drinking and taking of drugs increased. With that background, I'm going to react to Ren's new Vincent's Tale teaser. It's just an amazing piece of work.
Last night in London, a 14-year-old girl was found dead from a fatal stab wound. Her attacker, a 14-year-old boy, is in critical condition after a violent altercation with a police officer. Overdue report is on the ground for more.
Oh, such a beautiful shame. The sunflowers will when the skies do not rain. It's a story I'm sure we all know. It's a moment of madness inside the walls. We all fall down.
Right away, you look at this actor, and if you don't see a resemblance to Vincent Van Gogh, then you just don't even know what Vincent Van Gogh looked like, because this is uncanny. Other than the fact that his left ear is still intact. Van Gogh famously cut off his left ear and presented it to a young girl who was horrified by it. That's what ended him up in the asylum for a while. He talks right away about the sunflowers, that they die when there's not enough rain. But people were thrown off by the television port, which appeared to refer to a prior video. I've watched that video. I didn't react to it because sometimes I find Ren's work to be so dark, I can't even hardly bear to watch it. And that may prove true when the ultimate Vincent's Tale comes out. I don't guarantee that I will react to that because his work is disturbing in a lot of ways. There's a fine line, I think, between madness and artistic genius, and Ren walks that line. And I think that's also the theme of this short prologue, is that this gentleman here, as you can see, is heavily imbibing probably marijuana. So we're getting a picture of a modern-day Vincent who maybe has some of the same issues that the historic Vincent have, being artistically a genius, but at the same time, you know, having mental issues, having problems in his life, having drug abuse, and hopefully not suicide in his future. But it wouldn't surprise me because Ren doesn't pull any punches. But right away, pick up on the music and the singing, and it just gets better from here.
In London town, shaky ground carries me right down, blinding me loud, never surrender.
So if you hadn't already picked up that this was a modern-day Van Gogh, this was your next clue. I'm going to have to ask my dog to be quiet over there, please. Van Gogh famously painted still lifes of sunflowers in a vase, just like this probably looked before it was set on fire. Again, you have the fire of genius, but also the fire of madness being represented by this inexplicably aflame sunflower right inside of the house. I wouldn't recommend you have that kind of fire going in your house. The fumes from it on top of, you know, the danger of burning your house down, probably pretty high.
These
absolutely love that scene of Ren first appearing on a television screen, and then he turns off the television, and then he appears in real life. But look at him. I mean, he looks miserable. He looks very, very unhappy, dirty. So it's kind of similar to the character Vincent, who was all spaced out on drugs and didn't look like a very happy camper either. But again, the singing was just incredible there. And the music, if you count it off, it's a waltz. It's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a really old-timey feel to the song. And Ren singing is just beautiful. The first person I thought of actually was Frank Sinatra. It's like a classic jazz singer. But then, you know, when he starts talking about war, then he's almost heavy metal. You know, he's screaming into the microphone, and his voice, you know, is very ragged and rough. So just a tour de force of a vocal performance here. We've now transitioned from the opening Vincent scene, which, you know, was the modern day Vincent, and whether he's going to turn out to be a character in an ongoing saga of tales, we don't know. We don't know where he's going with this. But now we're into the real Ren's modern life. Notice how it went from the waltz, and then the rhythm broke up, and it went into an electronica type of sound, not even music hardly. It's kind of like a day in the life, isn't it? But it's not a very happy life. It's one of these crushing, soul-sucking routines of going through the motions, you know, going to his job every day, riding on the bus, you know, going to the convenience store to get a snack, going to the bar to have a drink. But you can sense it's the life of isolation. There's very little human contact going on here. And I love the little tick, tick, tick like a clock in the background. And you're about to see that as we go forward, time will accelerate. The pace of that ticking is going to pick up to a climax here. Now, before we get to the final 20 seconds of this video, which is more of a preview, I think, of what's going to be coming in the full video, you can see there the video sped up, the images came closer and closer together, the clock ticked faster and faster, and then he gets to that point where he's been drinking too much, you know, he pays his tab, he gets up, he can hardly walk, he's staggering out of the bar. I don't think anything good is going to come from that kind of behavior, but we'll see what it all leads to. Just an amazing combination of music and video here that it's hard to find anybody producing at this level in the world today. That was it. That was your teaser. That last few seconds probably taken from the upcoming video, which is going to come out July 31st. And you notice he's kind of rapping with his Van Gogh look-alike fella there. And again, he appeared to be in a half-crazed, half-drunken stupor during a number of those scenes, and even it appeared that he was taking a ride in a squad car. Not great things are expected for Mr. Vincent's modern incarnation here. What a beautiful, beautiful work of art. It's the only way you can describe what Ren is doing here. He's the whole package, the whole enchilada. He's directing the video, and he's writing the music, performing the music, creating the whole feeling here, which in 4 minutes he covers a huge amount of territory. I'm looking forward to seeing the actual video when it comes out, but I'm not going to guarantee that I will react to it because, as I say, sometimes Ren is just too dark for me. So we'll see what happens to this character, but I'm not expecting it to be good things.